first couple of reports. Wait for Vice President.
Okay, sure.
So, Madam Clerk, the roll call, please.
Sure. Director James Fairman is on his way to the meeting. Assistant Secretary Robert Uden.
Here.
Secretary Arlen Schaefer.
Present.
Director Arthur Perry.
Here.
And President Michael Schaefer.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public comments. Now's the time for public comments. Seeing no one really from the public, no offense, officer. We'll go to the organics tonnage report. Scott?
Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff? Director Uten, you have no question?
No, nothing significant.
I don't have a question about the report, but I have a question from previous meetings I'd like to ask.
Yep.
Okay, you know, when we talk about OCC using their totals, where are we on that, Scott?
Nothing to report since the last time I emailed the board. When I emailed to Mike Carey about using the tonnage, he said it was something we probably have to consult with Cal Recycle and our attorneys, because they're under state law to divert waste at this college only. They don't really doesn't really matter about the city, and like this, we were under the impression that a lot of the people that participate in the event are coming from Costa Mesa, and Mike doesn't believe that at all. He thinks they're coming from all over the area, so it'd be really hard to distinguish that kind of recycling coming from Costa Mesa. But if the board still wants to, I can follow up with Cal Recycle and Alan.
I would like you to. I think it's only to our advantage to do so.
Sure.
So Cal Recycle said we can only count what people from Costa Mesa?
No, that's what Mike Carey said.
No, it's just that Mike said we were under the impression that most of the recycling being dropped off at the center was from Costa Mesa residents, and Mike Harris says no, that's not true at all. He says they're coming over, but we asked the question: Can he distinguish between? Can you survey people coming in where they're coming from? He said he just doesn't have the resources. To do that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean that would be nice to know where they're coming from, but
Dean had a different impression that it comes to Costa Mesa, we can count it. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's what I was. Same thing that I was.
the only thing I can see a difference is OCC is a public agency. It's a public agency where his facility is private. There might be some distinction between those two. I don't know. So, but I think that's a good question to ask Cal Recycle.
Then my follow-up question is, because Dean takes all the cans and stuff from him. Is that correct? Most of those cans go to the CR&R.
He takes all the recycling.
The recycling, can we count that because he takes it? So these are just thoughts I had.
Okay.
That's why I was asking if Dean was coming today. Can we count the stuff that he takes from OC Recycling as part of our recycling? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Yeah, the other thought that I had, and with all due respect to Mike, I mean, he's there every day, he knows what's going on. It seems like the other cities, surrounding cities, have recycling centers. They have private recycling centers, whereas Costa Mesa has none other than Orange Coast College. That's why I'm thinking there's more people than I think Mike thinks that are coming from Costa Mesa. That's just my impression, I can go to MacArthur and Fairview, and there's a recycling guy in the city of Santa Ana, where I can't go to anybody in Costa Mesa.
I think we should research it more.
Yeah.
If we get those totals, that'd be pretty significant for us.
I wouldn't want to give up on that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I've got direction from the board. I'll follow up on that.
Okay, thanks.
One of the things I noticed,
We're just done this first.
even with the drought, now this organics tonnage is including the green waste, right?
Yes, it is. That's correct.
I was just kind of looking at, we were in the middle of a drought through through November, December, and January, and there's significantly higher numbers on this year. Is that just because we're now counting it? It's nothing, you know what I'm saying? We're now counting the stuff that goes to the AD facility?
Correct.
So that's why it shows such a higher number.
Yeah, this is strictly the data that's going to the AD facility. I think the tonnage will go up because of all the rain. I think the grass, just again, classic example, look at our facility here, how much grass is growing.
I think it's going to go up.
It's going to go up significantly, yes.
Yeah. But I was just surprised when you look at January from 15 to 16, it was 583. And a year later, it's at 753. I mean, we're going to see those numbers getting
Yeah, I believe so.
bigger and bigger.
I believe so,
True.
yeah. Well, I'm really, and it is, unfortunately, Dean's not here because I've been asking him, when are they doing that waste characterization study? That's going to be really the key to finding out what our diversion rate is. So I'm putting pressure on Dean to get that done.
Yeah.
I think we should.
He hasn't given you a date?
He's been out sick. He said he had pneumonia for about 10 days, and so he just got back like last week, so I mean, he's taking time to get caught up.
Well, he doesn't do the waste characterization study, the staff does it. So
But doesn't
he
he,
didn't have to be there to stand over and watch it. He didn't even know it was going to occur.
Right.
doesn't he have a new assistant or somebody?
We have a new rep.
Yeah.
Yeah, her name's Shelley. We haven't met her yet, so.
Yeah. She hasn't come?
No, ideally, I think our new management analyst is going to be starting in a couple of weeks, which she will be working closely with Bila. We'll be working closely with Shelley. And so it'll be nice to, the four of us, maybe get together and introduce each other, and we'll go from there.
I think as soon as you can, you got to get the CRNR with your timeline, obviously, but as soon as, what's her name, Shelley?
Shelley, yeah.
She needs to come in here and take a look
Yeah.
at, give her a tour, find
Oh,
out.
absolutely. Yes,
That's
definitely.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and then we got to take Nabila to the tour of CRNR and 80, so yeah, it's all ties in together. Yeah.
That's, are we going to have Mike Valier overlook the CRNR waste characterization study?
Yes, that's our goal is to hire Mike again because he's always under $5,000 to look at the waste characterization study and CRNR's performance.
Just get him to set a date.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not get back to me.
Hold the payment up. Don't get their attention.
Probably would.
That works really good.
Okay, any other questions? Then we'll move to item 2, code enforcement.
Yes, Ed Roberts, will you give us
Smiley, you're up.
Good morning, President Schaefer, members of the board. Ed Roberts, your code enforcement officer, presenting the February 2017 code enforcement officer report for study session. For the month of February 2017, I conducted a series of 5 proactive scavenging investigations, primarily concentrated on the west end of town, in the southwest corner specifically. The locations that I made contacts were during the course of February were 1976 Anaheim Avenue, 644 Beach Street, 1922 Charlie Street, 2168 Raleigh Avenue, and 722 Wheelo Drive. And these are all single-family or multi-family residential neighborhoods, commercial. One of the contacts was less than positive, however, didn't result in any out of the ordinary, anything of note to report to you beyond I walked away and the other person. But the result was the same. Recyclables were returned to a nearby materials cart, and that person was sent on their way. Continuing, for the month of February, there were a series of 110 various locations noticed regarding trash carts. We have compliance there. In lieu of Mr. Uden's request, I've sat in the Pepper Tree Alley for extended amounts of time, just monitoring situations in the alleys, and I put that on my radar. For example, going to the alleys just to keep tabs on who's moving their carts and seeing if anyone's taking CMSD property. No instance of note with that. For the benefit of the board of directors and on the direction of Scott, I have enlarged the maps for your benefit, so that way at a glance you can tell the locations where they're at. Where the instances of scavenging have been. There were no incidents of graffiti reported to me, and I have been collaborating with Renee Macias, who's the senior code enforcement officer on the city of Costa Mesa side. I've known her for a few years. Sometimes our job duties overlap, and for example, today I got a complaint from the city of Costa Mesa regarding some trash cart issues that they were dealing with, that they'd like my assistance with. Are there any questions from the board? Sir?
The one in Raleigh Street, verbally hostile, what did that entail?
Loud and abusive. As far as the behavior, cussing, not agreeing with my mission or purpose and what I'm doing. The person is indigent and I would speculate potentially had some mental disability or issues that led to that behavior. It was a little out of the ordinary, and just I'm trained in dealing with mentally ill. I don't engage. There's just no point, in engaging or progressing the contact. So as long as I achieve what I wanted to do, which was convey the message, stop scavenging, put the recyclables back, and leave the area, please, which they did. I got my feelings hurt and walked away. That's about it. So nothing too bad.
Okay, just check.
Yes, sir. If at all I feel there's a potential for safety, for my safety primarily, I'll back off. And if it escalates anything beyond that, I'll be sure to notify the cops and have them roll out to dismiss.
Yeah, I did. On the scavenging,
Yes, ma'am.
if you were to take the whole city, each area, how do you feel we're doing on the scavenging? Do you think it's more or less?
I would say it's actually maintained quite consistently. We just have the city of Costa Mesa has the 19th Street corridor, and obviously we're well aware of some of the issues that prevail in that area. We have the revolving door of folks coming in and out of town, and it's just that's the mainstay of their economy, how they support themselves. Recyclables. So one couple of folks will come in, exist in the town for 3-4 months, and kind of work their way out of Costa Mesa and go elsewhere. Because I see new faces constantly rotating in and out of the city.
Brady, these were people.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The lady on Anaheim?
Yes, sir.
Is that the same lady
It's
we used to see?
It's the same lady, sir.
I know who she is.
Right.
We were headquartered over on 19th Street.
Yeah,
I'd see
yeah,
her on,
right.
going down Maple.
Yes, sir. It's one of those things, you've got a 75, 80-year-old woman.
We should probably subsides on.
Correct. In the interest of justice, I think you just kind of scoot her along.
What I was curious about was the part that we had it on the agenda about the locked cans, and I wondered how important it is, because maybe it isn't as important.
Let me address the Director
Yes,
Schaefer's
please
question.
do.
And Code Enforcement Officer Roberts would know this, but he gives really detailed reports on how many scavenging investigation goes on. So as you know, we keep proposed measurements on our and tracking that, and I've been doing that right now. In 2014-15, we had about approximately 84 investigations. 15-16, we had 95. So it went up. So it's went up. So I'd be curious what this figure is. So it's not going down. I think it's fair what Officer Roberts said, it's stable, but it's actually going up. So it'd be interesting to see what the lockable containers can have an impact
Okay.
on.
Yeah,
We're also going to consider about applying for a grant. A grant's coming up here pretty soon, and one of those grant funds we're going to be using is for code enforcement and scavenging. And Officer Roberts is working closely with Gina on some programs and how we can reduce those numbers. So we have the data, and so now we can show that to the county and the people, okay, it's going up, and also we want to see a trend going down. So we'll work on that.
Thank you.
I think one of the things about the locking cans that people that are aware that they have a problem with scavenger are going to be the ones that order them. But 99% of the people don't even know. My trash cans go out on Wednesday night, and I put them away on Thursday night. I never look at them unless I notice they haven't been picked up. So I think a lot of residents aren't even going to bother with the lockable can because they don't know they have a problem. They don't know people are going through it unless somebody tells them.
And also, if I may, also add, it's also when I'm done with the data, I'll definitely share it with the board. But also, what we saw an increasing is a significant increase is the trash carts in public view. In 14-15, I think we had about 500. 15 and 16, we almost had 900. I mean, almost doubled. And so, I mean, that's a testament to Officer Roberts going out there and being very proactive. But I don't understand why people just don't bring their cans. I just don't get it. But it's going up, and so it's another issue we need to address.
I have a neighbor I can relate that to in the corner of Iowa and California. So they sit there for 3 days at it. I just don't get it. Don't you have trash to throw away the next day?
Yeah.
There's folks that will just not go with the program and rely on us our notice.
Yeah, I don't think the lockable cans will make one iota of difference, because if I were a scavenger and I went up to a can, I couldn't get it open, I'd just go to the next
Go to
one.
the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got 21,000, maybe 50,000 trash carts out there. And if we're going to put 100 lockable cans out there, I don't think it'll make it one iota of difference, but
I
it
think
might make them feel better.
it'll make the resident who gets it better.
Yeah.
It depends
Well,
what they
until
put in.
they can't unlock
It
it.
really depends on what they
Because
put
they
in
put
there.
in, paperwork and stuff that you don't want to, insert your.
And may I comment on that, actually? There's a resident that I've been working with on the east side who regularly reposts scavengers to me. A woman operates a business out of her home, and obviously I made recommendations about her, buying a paper shredder and all that.
Yeah.
But I made her aware of the fact that we do have lockable containers, and that was to allay her concerns. So
Is she not shredding them?
she is, but she's still concerned with identity theft and envelopes and things that may go through. And I think that's a perfect illustrator. There are going to be residents who that's going to be a wonderful asset to them to have that available to them. So really good point.
Just one quick question. The lockable containers, do they come in a small size?
No, they're 64 gallons,
So what's a small size?
32 gallon.
32, yeah.
That's my question. Very good. I can only use 32.
Anything else for Ed?
A good report.
Always, thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
everyone.
Be careful. All right, Scott, item 3.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President and Board of Directors. So this is the results of our pilot CCTV sewer lateral collection program. As you know, the board approved this pilot program to see how effective this program can be and possibly replace it with the current SLAP program. So we've been running it for about 3 months. Last Monday, or actually it was yesterday, was the last day that the 3 plumbers that we selected could CCTV homes, and Winnie Davis informed me that we had a total of 88 participants in the program. As you see in your staff report, most of the issues that the plumbers were seeing in the sewer laterals were root intrusion. Some were options, but I think overwhelmingly most of them were roots. And most of the recommendations are installing cleanouts. Most homes don't have cleanouts, so it ranges anywhere between $200 to $2,500. There was one cost in there for $8,500, and that was some significant improvements. I guess the lateral was just needed some serious work, and it was long, and so that's why that was just one instance. But the vast majority were between $2,000 to $500. So our opinion, we believe this program is very effective to achieve what I believe what the board's original goal was to be a proactive program to preventing SSOs, and I think this program achieves that goal. However, staff is recommending direction from the board to either accept the CCTV pilot program or use the original SLAP. We don't recommend both, and because it's time consuming for staff. As we indicated in the staff report, if you're going to implement both programs, it would minimum 2 hours a day for our engineering technician to deal with the SLAP issues. And as you see in the staff report, I put a bunch of other duties that the engineering technician will be responsible for. So I do believe it will have an impact, especially if we open it up to all plumbers who want to participate, not just limited to 3. As you heard, we had some plumbers that were concerned about that. So if you want to proceed with the CCTV program, what we would do is we would go out to bid again, and we would open up to all plumbers who want to participate, as long as they stick to those guidelines that we set. Then it'll be available to all plumbers. We also recommend budgeting $50,000. You can budget more, but I think $50,000 is an appropriate amount. We can get over 300 participants in the program. Right now, I think we're getting about half of that, based on $1,100 reimbursing residents. So you can actually reach out more for less. And that difference of $150,000 we can put towards other sewer-related programs like CIP projects or putting composite manhole covers out there. I think I also mentioned there's on the staff board, there's six reasons I identified in the staff board why we believe the CCTV program is more effective and would be a superior program over to the SLAP program. So that really concludes my presentation. Happy to answer your questions. So again, we're seeking direction from the board. If you want the CCTV program, we'll bring it back at your March agenda for formal approval.
You know, of those 88, how many were done by Mr. Just in Time?
Just in Time did all but 7 of them.
He did 81 of them.
SOS did the 7, and then the other plumber didn't participate.
What are we going to do?
It's interesting.
Do you know why?
Yeah, I think SOS, or I'm sorry, Justin Taiwan went knocking on doors, and he solicited business.
SOS is located in Garden Grove, and they, I'm sure that they didn't solicit anyone to do it. It was only if they were called off the list.
Do you think that after the process that Roto-Rooter and SOS just didn't want to agree to the amount? Did that have some play in it?
I think SOS was the one that set the price. Yeah, SOS was the one that set the price. Yeah, so they're the ones that set the price, and we reached out to Roto-Rooter and Justin to see if they would meet it, and they said yes.
Okay. Or,
My question is, how many people are still waiting for the SLAP program that have filed the paperwork?
The staff report is in, can't reach it. That's right, it's done. I think we have 40
to 50.
40, yeah, I want to say 24 maybe in process still.
I was just thinking, if we did make the switch over, we should have an extended period, maybe not do it to the first of the year or something, so give these people a chance to do their paperwork and get it in.
Yeah, we definitely would. We would extend this, I mean, the SLAP program would end on June, and if anyone submitted their application before June, it would still be processed and be able to do the program.
Do you
We
think-
typically give them 6 months to
And
wrap
that's
it
what I'm
up.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't give them 6 months if we go to June.
It'd go farther, it'd go past June, so, I mean,
we just wouldn't take new applicants.
right, we won't take applicants, correct.
I see. So no new applicants after June, but those
Correct.
ones that are getting their paperwork in would be,
Well, we can notify after June, or if we run out of money. If we run out of money before June, then we're not taking more applicants
probably
either.
close to running out of money.
We are close to running out of money. I was doing the board report yesterday, and I expired after 6 months. We send them a letter saying either wrap it up and turn in everything, you have 1 month to complete it, or you're expired. And so I expired some, and I think it gave us another maybe 24 spots, which is not very many, but I will expire some more. You know, as the months roll, we'll just keep expiring until then.
How much would we put back into the budget to finish anybody that wanted to do it and that's already submitted it?
Well, typically the last couple of years we've carried over $50,000 worth of money that was left over that was people in process. So we never really know because we've never stopped. Because even though we carry it over, we end up expiring those people. It just rolls back into allowing us to do more. So our budget, this year was technically 254,000, I want to say, because we carried over money. And then we might have expired some of those, which got reallocated. So it's always that rolling number, but it's hard to say, how many we'll have carried over. I can get the board report after the meeting if you want.
Or I'm just throwing out a question because the time will be the key for us if we do make the switch. We haven't talked about it yet, so.
Like you said, our goal would be to expire or to stop the CC now, and then go out to bid, start it again in July, and then June 30th would be the last dates that we would take applications if we still have money, and then those people that essentially turned in an application on June 30th would have roughly 6 months to finish it up.
Okay. So when you say go out to bid with a new program, you open that up to all the plumbers?
Yes.
So why do you have to go out to bid? I mean, just to get them to sign the paperwork that they agree to this price?
Well, I think that was going to be my question is because of the flack we got
Yes.
from the Plumbers Association, whatever that gentleman was. I want to know what I'd like to see before I want to see what the process is of getting all these plumbers on board, or what, you know what I mean? I don't want these guys coming back to us and saying you discriminated against us like they did that first time. Even though we did, I don't think we did.
Yeah.
But I want to know the process of how we're going to get these plumbers on
Because
board.
he said that the price was too low. That was one of his major things.
Well,
is that price too low, or is that?
That was the number that SOS gave us. It wasn't a number that we said it. We said, here, that's the number he gave us, and then we reached out to the other two plumbers, and they said they honored it. So it wasn't a number we picked.
you know, the old adage about it's better to get something than nothing. I mean, whether this price is too low or not, we can't. But if that's what a plumber has told us is reasonable, I think we're doing the right thing. I think we're at least helping the homeowners get this done.
I think also what we'll do is the person that reached out, the person with the association, we'll reach out to them and meet with them,
That's impressive.
yeah, I think we'll reach out to them and address their issues and see if we can put that in the program. So we're being proactive.
As long as we have the opportunity to talk to all of them, we're clean, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
We'll try and run it the way we run the SLAP program, whereas this was an RFP to get people to agree. We'll do this in a meeting environment like we did the SLAP, where we just periodically any plumber that's interested, sign up for the next class. Here's what we require. You must have this, this, and this, because that's pretty much, it's meeting the guidelines of the program, is making sure your equipment meets our minimum standards. So
Would you have more than one class then? Say it's.
we used to have the SLAP ongoing. We would periodically just do the SLAP so that any new plumbers coming in or anybody that hadn't participated, we just haven't done it in a while.
Do you have, in 2006, we had like 18 private sanitary sewer overflows. Do we have any way of knowing, we don't report sanitary sewer overflows, do we have any way of knowing, I think the SLAP program has been extraordinarily effective. And basically we developed it to keep plumbers from doing pushed-in routes that would block our line, but we're so much more effective at keeping our lines clean that maybe that need is passed.
Yeah, the only time we're going to know is a private SSO. We get called about it, and I think recently the SSOs we've been experiencing, private SSOs, are commercial businesses like a restaurant or I think it was a hotel at one time. As far as the residential private SSOs, it's been a while. Do you remember, Robin, the last time we had a private SSO in resident?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So with this program, is the staff's vision of this program just for residents?
Yes, correct.
Industrial and commercial?
It's just for residents. It's up to you if you want to go commercial, but our intention was residents.
If you do the commercial, the distance from the building to the sewer main is usually a lot longer.
Yeah, $125 ain't gonna cut it with it, does not.
So the price would not be apples to apples.
We get a lot of the commercials when they pull permits because of they're required if they're doing a certain number of improvements, or they're required to see CCTV, so.
When we started this program, Art and I asked the question about can you figure out how to target the certain streets that are more tree lined than others, or would potentially have a problem, like Royal Palm. Royal Palm was one of the streets that we were interested in as likely candidates. Can you go back and look through the program to see where the concentration of work that we've done with the sewer lateral assistance program, would that be any help?
Concentrating where the trees are?
Yeah, it won't be any help to where the trees have caused an impact.
Well, we did reach out to the city's arborist to find out, is there any particular part of the city that has more trees than other neighborhoods, and the arborist, didn't say no. He said no. We're hoping the city would have some kind of a GIS map or some kind of map that could show us where all the trees are located. Usually a lot of cities will have that. A lot of trees, they'll have their tree inventory on a map, and you can see where they're all planted, but they don't have that in the city. And in Arborist, it just said it's pretty much, trees.
Yeah. So that's gone.
Yes.
So you need another potential means of analyzing. We've had this program in effect for 10 or 11 years, which means almost 2,000 residents have been affected. So is there any easy way to figure out where those 2,000 residents are? Are they all along Royal Palm? Obviously not. But
Well,
are
no,
they concentrated in particular sections?
I mean, that'll take us some time. We can go back to the data. It'll take us some time to map it out where all the homeowners are. But that's going to give us some time to do that. That's a lot of data.
Well, I mean, you're talking about $150,000 a year in savings.
But if you want to see where all the homes are, and we can, in relation to the trees, and we can do that, it's just going to take us some time. But sure.
No, I mean, I'm around the city a lot, every day, just like everybody else. If the Freedom Homes aren't the biggest concentration of trees, I don't know where in Costa Mesa it would be.
Where's the Freedom Homes?
It's on the west side, from 19th.
The very oldest homes.
Well, some of the older ones, yeah.
All the way to the stars.
Canyon Drive and Royal Palm, and I mean, there's certain.
Well, yeah, Royal Palms, remember we had the report that Royal Palm was the one that was infested with the tree problems. That was like 15 years ago.
Yeah. Golf course drive, it's another.
Yeah, Golf Course Drive and Carnegie Street.
Maybe we could target areas with flyers, like a company to deliver flyers.
Yeah.
If you want to present areas, because I think that's, mailers, they may throw it away, but if we do something like a door hanger or something like that in specific tree-lined areas, it might encourage them.
Or even ask the plumbers.
Yeah,
Plumbers better,
that's
that's
better.
I mean, their means of getting the data is not simple,
Where you
but
working?
we need to target the areas, if we can target the areas.
Where they're working. Arlene?
I have two things. One of them is, this Friday is a liaison meeting, and it might be something to put on the agenda in front of some of the council members and the manager to see what they say. How, if we can have some assistance or help on this and thoughts. Anyway, that's one of them. And the other one I wanted to say was, once we decide what we're doing about the slot program, so that we condense it, however we do it, that we might, and I don't know if we've already put something, I've never seen anything in the newsletter, not much on it, but it's a good opportunity for us to shine and show the partnership with the city and us on this kind of program and what it provides to the residents, so that they're able to understand what's going on and, say, hey, this is our new way that we're doing it now, and we're open and all these commerce and so forth, once we get this all ironed out.
I don't know if we want to put the city shine with us. I think we'd be the first to shine, I don't know. But do we have an agenda for that liaison meeting?
Not yet.
I mean, what are we going to be asking about?
Talking about
Sorry.
CCTV. Well, we're going to get this program, CCTV update.
Yeah, that's not beginning.
What else? That was shared services. That was it. Because you got the school district going to be there too, so the agenda's going to be pretty full.
Okay.
Well, you could talk about shared services and the toilet program. I expect.
Okay, so then,
Any direction from the board, do you want to proceed with this program?
I like the program because I think it's much more, it's going to affect a lot more people, I think. I think we miss a lot on the slat because as much as we like our plumber, there's a bunch of plumbers out there that aren't telling the residents about this program. They just want to get the work done and get paid.
Yeah.
Something like this, I think, gives us a lot more opportunity to hit the ratepayers and provide a service that could prevent them from even having to call a plumber. That's just my thoughts.
As a person who went through the program
Yeah.
and witnessed it, I just think it's very worthwhile for people to understand it. Through that, I had 3 different people that went through it after me because they suddenly learned about it.
Yeah, I think another benefit, it actually brings awareness to people about their sewer laterals, right? It's one of those out of sight, out of mind kind of
That's
thing,
right.
unless it breaks, and then now you're like $8,000 in the hole for repairing it. So at least it brings attention to people that about your sewer lateral and how you got to maintain it. And if a plumber goes down there and sees a bunch of roots and hey, it's going to cost you $2,200, well, the homeowner might not have the money at that time, but at least he or she could save it. And it's okay. I know down in the future I got to do this, and at least it prepares them.
From a selfish standpoint, from my business, people don't know about their sewers until it backs up into their living room, their dining room, and then they call us and say, it's not covered by their insurance. Unless they buy a special part to the policy, backup of sewers isn't covered. So I like this. I like the new program because it affects a lot more people, and it's going to save us a bunch of money from the district.
Do you know, Mesa said their legal counsel says that they're not allowed to get involved with the water line, from the property line into the house. Can you explain in the future why we are with the sewer lateral allowed, to interact with the resident and pay them?
They don't have any jurisdiction. The water in that lateral, it's sewage.
Yeah.
So,
But both of them are the homeowners, the water line and the sewer lateral. The homeowners out
I don't
to the
know.
curb. Rob, do you know?
Rob's.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the city of Costa Mesa, we had the overlapping powers conundrum that Alan Burns had gone through with one of his other clients and the city. So he took to court an overlapping jurisdiction service and Home Garden Sanitary District versus the city of Corona. Alan prevailed and showed that the first one to exercise their powers were granted those powers. So we went back and looked at us and the city of Costa Mesa with regard to sewer laterals on private property. We were the same as the water district up until then, which meant that our jurisdiction started at the property line and stayed out in the street. But after we looked at the programs we wanted to have and et cetera, we asked the city to give up jurisdiction of sewer laterals, which is the sewer pipe outside, and they gave it up. We have emails on record from Alan Roeder back in, I don't remember the year, maybe 2005 or something, where the city gave up their authority to be the jurisdiction for on-site private sewers. So at this point, we have legal authority over everything in the street and the sewer lateral on private property up to the building, but not inside or under the building. So that's why we differ from the water district.
So do we inspect that sewer lateral?
Yes, we inspect the private sewer on the property.
Out to the street.
If everyone agrees, why don't we just put this on the agenda for public hearing?
It is going to be, isn't it?
Well, no, I need direction. If you don't
No,
put it on
he's
there.
trying to get direction from us, and I'm just saying,
What
why
is-
don't we do?
How does everybody feel about replacing the slab program?
I just want to make sure we take care of the people that can meet the deadline.
Sure.
Dan.
Yeah, I agree. Jimmy,
I agree. We've got to protect those people. And but like somebody said, this new approach is going to be more inclusive, and I think in the long run it'll be better.
I was thinking about how do we handle the guy that got 81 of the jobs out of 88? I mean, is he going to just blast the city with the information, or how did, can we let him
He's a
do
good
that?
businessman.
Yeah, that's his prerogative, you know.
So we should have, before we started, we should have everybody on board. All the plumbers saying this is the date we're going to start it. Because right now it's ending, right?
It's over right now.
It's over, so we should have everybody on board so they all have the same opportunity.
Right.
You know?
And that they all agree to the price.
Yeah, plus all plumbers who come in and find out that there's a program, they're gonna wanna get signed up too.
And then we do what we did with the SLAP program, is say, if you want to be on our program, just come to the next class,
Yeah.
and we'll put you through the, I mean, that gives everybody an opportunity to get on board.
So the key thing will be the starting date of the program. And once everybody's on board, then we start it, it's fair to everybody, you know.
Yeah. Is that all right, Scott?
Yeah.
We'll have 100 plumbers out there selling the program pretty quick.
If they're smart, they will.
Which is not a bad idea, you know, because we'll have $150,000 in our pocket.
Yeah.
That'll be gone.
Did we include a little thing in there about if you need coverage for backup, if the sewer backs up in your city? That was a joke. For the record, that was just a joke.
Well, one last question. Does staff, now that he's out we've CCTV'd how many of them? So those 88, of those 88, how many of them went into the SWAT program? Or could they go into the SWAT program?
They did. We did have people that, once they
Maybe.
CC'd and saw that they had a problem. In fact, I'm applying for it now. I was CC'd on Friday, and they told me what I need. I need to clean out, and so
It's
now
too late. It's too late.
We do. When people come out, the plumbers are, especially just in time, they're recommending them for the SLAP program. So we did have people transition.
So it hasn't really made an impact on the SWAT program. It's just it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a normal course.
But it's nice that it's, because of it, they're doing it in advance of a problem. The SLAP program mostly tended to be
And
an
the cost
emergency.
probably is lower to the district.
Oh, yeah. Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you.
Then we'll go to item 4, inflow and infiltration.
Rob Hamer's business report.
Rob?
Thank you, Mr. President and board members. This is a periodic check of the amount of stormwater and other surface water runoff that is making its way into the sewer system. As we know, it is against our rules, OCSD rules, WDR rules, to let stormwater go into the sanitary sewer. It does cost money to treat wastewater, and OCSD has a published goal of restricting the amount of surface water, of storm water that gets into the sewer to less than 2% of the volume of the storm. So it was requested that we do this periodic check. So we selected a storm. The largest storm in January had 1.85 inches in 24 hours. And to determine the amount of excess water, we compare pump station run times that are during dry periods with pump station run times that are during rain events. And the extra run time is the amount of storm water that makes its way into our system. The calculation for this storm event showed that we were indeed less than 2%. We were at less than 1%. We were 0.76% of rain ingress into the sewer system. We've done this calculation quite a few times, and we never have been above 2%, which is very good. At this point in time, well, let me back up a little bit. OCSD has determined from their 2005 flow metering study that the area up around the fairgrounds and Mendoza Pump Station is an area with high stormwater inflow. And OCSD is rechecking their 2005 study results. They're rechecking it now. They have meters in their Fairview trunk. They have meters in our lines. They have meters in other lines throughout Orange County. And fortunately, this was a rainy, wet season, so they'll have plenty of data to work from. But we have been doing our best to plug and seal manhole covers. As it says in the report here, we have plugged and sealed over 1,600 manhole covers out of 4,700 or so. So our cure for inflow and infiltration is really plugging and sealing manholes, and our program has worked very well. So that's a brief overview. There are quite a few attachments, calculations that were done, but in essence, we're less than 2%, so we are in compliance with OCSD's goal.
On the fair, they say the fairgrounds tends to be an issue. Did the fairgrounds, do they not plug and seal their manhole covers?
They, very good question. They removed one or two manholes in an area where they used to pull the manhole cover during the storm and just let the water go straight in. And we worked with the fairgrounds. They have regraded that area, so that's not a concern. There are still other areas in the fairgrounds that are open to the sky. And a while back, Scott and I attempted to contact the fairgrounds executive management, and they wouldn't return emails or phone calls. So it'll be interesting to see what OCSD's new results show. But hopefully we're not a red and brown blotch on OCSD's map that they will be producing from this rainy season.
I would really encourage us, in cooperation with OCSD, to contact. If the fairgrounds doesn't want to respond, then maybe the risk manager who's handling the fair associate, all the fairs, maybe we need to contact her.
We contacted the top two people of staff at the fairgrounds with no reply. The OCSD data will probably be out sometime in the summer. It takes a while to crunch it all and come back with results. But we do know that some stormwater is making it back in there vis-a-vis the calculations for our system. And we're plugging and sealing and doing the best we can. So at this point, we're glad to be below the 2%, but we sure wish we could be down closer to zero.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, the reason I mentioned the person who's in charge of risk management for all the fair association, whatever it's called, we all know her. Mm-hmm. It's Becky Bailey Finley, who's the former CEO of Orange County. Just a note to Becky and say, hey, we've got to, as the person in charge of risk management, maybe you ought to know what's going on, and maybe she can help.
I agree with you, Mike. I think we get some action there.
I think Becky would, she's got a vested interest in that, and that's her baby. That was her baby.
It would be nice to, if it's okay with the board, to wait until the study results are out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's, unlike our president who can't prove he got wiretapped, we could at least prove that, that there was a problem. So I agree, Rob.
I had a question. Did you contact the new CEO, Kathy?
Yes, there are two women who are I don't have their names, but we contacted both of them.
And she hasn't responded to you?
No, as Scott tried himself.
Well, they have board meetings, so we could go talk to their board. Just tell them the executive manager, didn't bother to talk to us.
But I think I agree with Rob. We need to wait till we see the study and see if that shows up as a major problem.
Gene, Rob, one question. Do you know the pump stations that did work overtime to get to that 2% and what areas they're at?
The one that I use to determine I use 4 big ones and proportion that up over the whole district for some calculations. But the 4 big ones we used are Eldon, Victoria, Harbor, and Mendoza. And Mendoza's usually the highest. And we've plugged and sealed almost every manhole there. So there may be a lot of illegal connections that we don't know about that are making this occur.
What pump station pumps from the fairgrounds area? Is that Mendoza?
Yes. Some of the fairgrounds does not go to Mendoza. Some of the fairgrounds goes directly to the Fairview trunk.
We don't-
The very easterly portion goes to Mendoza.
And we can't determine that then, if it goes to the trunk. Can we?
No. But OCSD has looked at it and already told us that there was some stormwater in there, which we expected there to be some.
I'd say we wait for that report and then go from there. So that we can have data in front of us.
That report will help us in another way, and that is stormwater is a component of sewer capacity, and we really need to know exactly how much stormwater is making it into our system so that when we do our master plan update, we take into account that level of water when we're determining capacity. We already do use a coefficient for water making it in there. We want to update our numbers and make sure we're using the correct amount.
Did you indicate how long till we get this study, out of curiosity?
OCSD hired a consultant
Oh,
to put the meters in. They take a while. So
I was just wondering before the fair starts, because that's over 1 million people lining them out there, and it's kind of crazy.
we don't have any control over how OCSD does their work.
Yeah,
And
okay,
we normally just have to sit and wait.
okay.
And realistically, like, people in the news keep saying March and April could be, March doesn't look like it's going to be real wet, but April could be wet, so I'm sure they won't do anything until after the quote-unquote rainy season is over, right?
I agree.
Our pump stations normally pump about 2 hours a day.
That's a good estimate. It's more like 2 hours per day per pump. And
So it's 4 hours a day.
it's a varying number for each station. But
On average.
on average, probably a couple hours per day per pump is a reasonable estimate of how often they pump.
So the data showed less than 2 hours for the worst pump stations, so we're increasing it by 50%. So it's not really impacting our pump ability to handle the flows at the pump stations the way they're designed.
That's true. We have not had any adverse situations occur when pumping stormwater.
But a particular sewer might be impacted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jim?
The cities used to be infamous for neglecting the storm drains. Have they kept up lately with the condition of the storm drains?
I like to go by the catch basin at the corner of 19th Street, Newport Boulevard, northbound, and observe the tree that's growing inside the catch basin that they have never removed. So with regard to how much they do and don't clean their storm drains, I'm wondering how big the tree is these days. It's never been removed.
That's so my gauge is there's a drain at the corner of Labrador and or not Labrador, Geisler and I can't think of the name of the street off the top of my head. It might be Labrador. That thing plugs up because I come home from work that way. That thing plugs in every rainstorm. The city never touches it. I mean, it just and that floods Geisler like crazy. So Yeah.
Scott made a good call when he had EEC take the city data for where the ponding occurs, and he gave that to EEC to show what manhole covers are in those areas. So we've been doing everything we can outside or inside the office, trying to make plans.
Maybe this is a good one for the liaison committee, for the city to respond to the storm drains.
And potential shared services with
Yeah,
our,
for-
with our.
Which Scott had mentioned that before, or shared services with our vac
Yeah.
trucks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm meeting with Mesa Water General Manager and Tom Hatch today to talk about shared services. So I think the result of today's meeting will give an update on the Friday liaison meeting.
I'm curious, typically, the worst part of Costa Mesa during rains was Anaheim and 18th Street, the old women's club.
Yes.
And they spent all those,
Yes.
I don't know how many dollars
Pomona and
redoing.
17.
And Pomona and 17th, same
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly, those are the top
Yeah.
10.
I don't know how they did during these last storms, but that
Public
would,
Works been really good
yeah.
previously too.
Well, they have that huge project with the underground storage, not on Anaheim. Yeah, on
Oh,
Anaheim.
yeah.
What's on the park?
That should have helped a lot in that.
No, it's on Anaheim. that's right.
Yeah, Anaheim and
Right by the
18th.
Historical Society.
Right in front of the Historical Society, like Davis Field. Hey, any other questions for Rob? Very good.
Thank
We'll
you.
look forward to that. Look forward to that report after it comes out. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, oral communications and director comments. Director Perry?
Yeah, we heard back anything from the Chamber of Commerce.
No, we just sent an email a couple weeks ago, didn't hear back, sent another one yesterday, so we're waiting to hear back.
In that email, did you tell them about the no wall that can be there?
Yes, I did tell them.
Because I was thinking if we had a wall that was kind of sectioned off, so the top would let the air flow through. You go 6 feet, and have 2 feet above, they could still have a wall there. Like in walk through, they could still have air conditioning. I thought that might be a solution to, if they wanted a wall.
Well, it's more than just air conditioning, it's also about staff too, because where are they gonna, so you put a wall up there, the only way they're gonna get out is through this door. And I think it might be a fire hazard issue, it might be an emergency issue, you need to have other access to get out of this building.
Well, it's not a wall, it's not a solid wall, it's a wall here, and 2 or 3 feet this way, it's a wall, it's like a partition. So they can still access that way. You see what I mean? But the top of the air conditioning would be solved because the air can still flow. I was just saying we could solve that problem if we needed to, if they were interested.
When did we give $1,000 to Vanguard? I don't remember
So
that.
That was for that
That's
performance.
the performance, the holiday performance.
Remember, we had a discussion about whether we were
Yeah.
giving to a religious
Yeah.
institution.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
I'm
the
just
vote
a
was
little
4 to 1.
convinced.
I voted no.
If it was more than 30 days ago, Bob, you probably don't remember.
Squeak.
We were still over at Newport, or on 19th Street when we had that discussion.
Yes.
So we're now in their president's circle?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Very good.
It'll be on the wall.
Bob, anything else?
No,
Artie?
I can't remember anyone.
I know, I'm sure you can. By the way, Bob Wooten was mentioned on Facebook yesterday for performing at the Ice House.
No, I was in attendance, and the performers mentioned me.
Oh, you didn't perform?
No, I'll be up there.
And so you're a Facebook star for nothing?
I liked it.
I'm sure you did. Arlene?
Yeah, I had a question. When do you think we're going to have open house
Good
on the
question.
place? Because truthfully, we should have it before summer starts. I mean, June, because everybody goes away and things happen. Okay. And Gina's going away too.
We're planning on doing it in the next fiscal year because we didn't budget for the open house. So we're planning it now, but our goal is to do that in the next fiscal year in the summertime, or possibly in the fall, like we did at the yard. We did it in October. It worked out well.
Let's take a look at the plans and see what it's going to cost.
And also what happens with somebody moving in here.
Yeah.
You never know. It
Yeah.
might make a big difference too. I was just curious on that. And what was the other thing? I wanted to thank you for acknowledging me to run for CSDA. And
Well, that's what we did that, and you weren't here.
yeah, so.
You know, it was a close vote, unanimous, but it was a close vote.
I can't remember how I voted.
I don't either.
Well, at the board meeting, I'll share my flyer with you to let you see it. And I have the firehouse too, I went to the opening of that, or I should say the groundbreaking of it. It was excellent. And it was mentioned, that we were there and we were acknowledged by me. So, it was really good that we had somebody and that they really cared about what was going on from the sanitary district standpoint. So that was nice.
It's funny, they've got the fire station already fenced off, so they're
It's
yeah.
$7 million.
It's gonna be nice.
It's going to be beautiful.
Well,
the best.
Yeah, just, before we move away from Arlene, congratulations on your award at Katrina, at the mayor's,
Oh, yes, yes.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
You were a Facebook star as well with your picture receiving recognition as a former mayor, so congratulations for
Thank
doing
you.
that.
And before you move away from me,
Too late. Go ahead.
I want to acknowledge our president here is now the president
Chairman.
or chairman, actually chairman, of AEC, which is the Alliance Executive Committee,
Great.
which is really nice as of yesterday.
Yeah, the chairman resigned, so they moved me as the chairman for vice chairman, so.
Yeah.
And Arlene voted
Do you have
for
to
me.
go anywhere? Because you're never there.
No. Our meeting yesterday was a conference. With the Alliance Executive Committee is SDRMA, CSDA, and then the Finance Corporation.
Good.
We meet 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
a year. It's usually by conference calls.
Yeah, most of
Makes
it's
it
conference.
makes it real easy. So.
Mhm.
I have one more.
Well, let me go to Art and then, again, I'll come back.
Okay.
First of all, thanks for the clock, that's good.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh! Did I kept looking at it during the meeting and I'm thinking,
we took
I didn't
it
even
for
grab
granted.
And then second, the legislative days. I mean, I had talked to Alani, told her I didn't want to make a decision until I find out what our agenda was on RBN and who else might be going. I mean, are we still trying, Alani's been trying to make contact with us.
Yes.
Or do our, thing that we always do.
Yes.
Because I don't think going just to the legislative days is that
Yeah.
great, other than thus we can go see our legislators. That's,
yeah, SDRMA would sponsor me and I can't make it, so I won't. Wow.
Anybody else?
There's a sanitation district board member and alternate board member orientation tomorrow, Wednesday at 3 p.m. If you would like to attend. And there'll be a tour of the plant.
Good. Jim, maybe?
Yeah, I've got a couple things. One, the policy for the rental of this room, is that anywhere?
It's coming the next board meeting.
Okay.
this one coming up.
I had lunch with Fred Navarro, the superintendent of Newport Mesa, a couple of days ago, and mentioned that we'd have this room available, and believe it or not, they would probably utilize that on many occasions, and what he said. So when we do develop that policy, maybe we could send one over to them and make them aware of what, how it's structured.
Sure.
And those would probably be daytime meetings.
It could be nighttime,
Could be 19.
Yeah,
Could be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but
because their boardroom is bigger though than this, isn't it, Jim?
Yes, it is.
yeah,
This is
Yeah.
bigger than their boardroom?
No, their boardroom.
Yes, their boardroom is bigger.
yeah. No, well, I'm not talking about them having a meeting,
Oh,
I mean, for different,
Events.
different stuff.
Yeah, that'd probably be a great idea.
yeah. And then also I mentioned the liaison committee, and he's all for it. I mean, they're committed to that. And we just spoke briefly about, some possibilities, but, I think that there's some opportunities there that we can have with the school district to help all those special districts. So I'm not going to be at the liaison meeting Friday. I'm going to be on my way to San Jose, but
Do you know the way?
I do know the way, my God. Finally, do we need to ask the city to rescind their support of Mesa Water? I mean, in that,
Commissioner Keith, we are actually out, Scott. I've been reaching out to Katrina without response to sit down with us, and the ad hoc committee is strongly advocating that we get that done. So we're actually working on that.
I just don't want that.
I don't want it to die. It
No.
needs to be out there. Our consultants on the ad hoc committee felt that it would be a big deal for the city to say, hey, politically it would be a big deal,
Yeah, but-
and it would
No, I mean,
send a sign to LAFCO send a sign to or a message to LAFCO.
I met with Katrina, and since it's passed, it would be politically a big deal to undo it.
Well, that's a good thing.
So it's just the opposite.
No, it is.
She
Well-
doesn't want to do it.
She doesn't want to do.
Well, but I don't believe, I don't think that it's a negative thing. It's going to be a powerful thing if we can get them to do it. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Even if they would if the majority would say, hey, we don't support consolidation. I mean, whether they overturn the resolution or not is one
Yeah,
thing.
that's true.
But if we could just get the majority to say,
No,
hey,
absolutely.
these ongoing battles between the district and the water district
Counterproductive.
are counterproductive, and they, support the sanctity of both districts.
That's a good way to approach it.
Yeah. And finally, are you attending those meetings for the homeless
Yes.
thing? Is anything going on there in regards to what we talked about?
But no, I'll bring it up to Rick again. He mentioned something about maybe forming a subcommittee to talk about the new.
Yeah.
But we did participate. I mean, when I was in the meeting, the code enforcement officer gave a report, and he was saying that a lot of residents are frustrated because they're seeing syringes out there and they don't know what to do with them. So
I've heard that a lot.
we gave the code enforcement officer a bunch of our sharp containers so he can distribute to people who have issues with that, and along with flyers where they can dispose of them.
Well, I told you with my sense in Irvine what they're doing in all the public restrooms, they're putting sharps containers in the public restrooms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who pays the money?
Whoever they contract with to do it.
Probably waste management. That's their contractor.
Waste management.
Yeah.
Or stairs.
I went to one meeting, the homeless, and I've been trying to go to them. I really again.
But I think that I've heard the Sharps thing time after time.
Really?
It's really rearing its ugly head, and if we could help address that too.
Well, we now the fire department distributes them for us, and now the code enforcement does. So they're getting them out there.
Yeah.
Okay, pay attention.
Yeah.
Okay, back to what Jim was talking about, the rental agreement. Can we have a part in that rental agreement for shared services so that it can get the facility at no cost if it's during the daytime? Or something, something like that.
We'll bring all that. I'll talk about it on Thursday about cost and what you want to do. I know there's issues about alcohol. What do you want to do about alcohol? So
What's the, the board meeting?
The board meeting,
Okay,
yeah.
So we haven't finalized the agreement.
No, we haven't. So we'll bring it back on your regular board meeting, and we'll have all on for discussion about costs and alcohol and
Because
stuff.
like the school district wanted to use this for a class or something. I don't know if we want to charge them to go on the rate. They wouldn't be able to do that. Okay. You know what I mean? It should be like a shared service for free.
Well, I told Fred that it would be just a nominal fee for the guy who comes and opens the thing up and closes it.
Yeah,
He understood that.
That's where I was clarifying before. We got to
Yeah.
try to keep it reasonable.
Oh, I agree. I mean, that's. We've got to support it too.
Anything else you want to do?
I do.
Go.
I was wondering, Scott, when we find out, or you could find out through the chain, through CSDA, when the reception is, if we could have a letter written from us to Senator Morlock and to Assemblyman Harper about, please attend this, it means a lot to us for the reception. because it looks good, you know, and they did last time, and it was so nice because I know they're busy.
Sure.
And I did talk to Senator Morlock Saturday, and I told him about it, but he said, you know, write me something.
They're pretty busy that time of the year.
So none of us are going up to the
Well,
legislative day?
I may,
Oh, yeah.
if we get the connection. I don't want to go if we don't have that connection with them.
You're not going to go, Jim?
I don't want to go either if we don't have that.
I'm going for sure.
I have a State Farm conflict, so
Oh, are you going?
We're trying to set the meetings now, so.
No, I'm not, I don't intend to go.
It's good if we can do what we've done in the last couple of years. It's been really good.
it's sort of, although I think CSDA doesn't really like us doing that. But you know what? We need to be effective for our district as well. So,
They don't care for us to do it, but we were under the radar.
perfect.
We did it very well,
Then Arlene went to the.
and I went to everything else, and so that was fine.
Okay. All right, nothing else, we'll adjourn the study session.
Thank you.